If you look up the term procrastinator in the dictionary, probably along with a few other people, my face will be underneath the definition. I'm hoping this video today to be a little inspirational. Like I just said, I'm a huge procrastinator. I procrastinate in my work life and my personal life. And last year I kind of changed things up. So I got a lot of stuff done last year that I had been wanting to do for a while. Now don't get me wrong, I'm still a procrastinator. That's probably inevitable. I'll probably to some degree always be a procrastinator. I'm hoping to lessen it. I wanted to share the things that I've done to help stop being so much of a procrastinator and start being a bit more productive. So I have 3 tips. The first tip is just starting. Sounds obvious, probably a lot of people talk about it, and I myself am like, eye roll, okay, obviously you're just supposed to start, but it really is key. I would always put stuff off, and it kind of hit me last year that when I started something, I was like, hey, this isn't actually as bad, or this isn't actually as hard as I thought it was going to be, and I made it up to me in my head, and was the continuous reason for always putting stuff off, because I thought it was going to be so hard. So in my personal life, which is mainly going to fall under traveling, I want to travel a lot. And last year, I had wanted to go to Italy for years. I would always say, oh, I'm going to go in May. May came around, I hadn't got around to it. I was okay, I'll go in September. September came around, hadn't got around to it, and it just kept going on like that for years. And so I think it was probably like April, May-ish last year, and I was like, we're not going to go to Italy, and I was mad at myself, and so we had this argument. And then so she comes downstairs a little while later, she's got her laptop, she's like, Deborah, we're booking flights to Italy. We're booking them right now. Roughly, let's have a look at where we want to go. So we kind of picked roughly where we wanted to go. We wanted to start at the bottom and kind of work our way up for a few cities. So we booked a flight that day to Naples, didn't book a return, just booked a flight on a date in September. I was like, okay, that's us going to Italy. We're going to Italy on this day. As far as I'm aware, flights aren't really easily exchangeable, or you can't really return them. So in my opinion, once you book a flight, that's you made a commitment, like that you're not getting your money back. So unless you want to lose your money and you're okay with that, like you're going to that place. And once you've done that, that's your starting point for that. That should be like, right, you're held accountable to something. And it's not as hard as you think it's going to be. For me, I get overwhelmed really easily. I actually have really bad travel anxiety. So possibly part of the reason of not wanting to travel to Italy was because we wanted to go to lots of different cities. But once I started it, it was fine. So we booked our transport to Naples, then we booked a hotel in Naples, and then we booked a transport to another city, booked the hotel in another city. And if you just don't look at the overall picture, just break it down into little bits and just take it step by step. And it's so much easier when you look at the whole thing. It's so overwhelming and you're so daunted by it and you have no idea where to start. Start at the start, pick the easiest thing and do that. So for traveling, book your first flight there. Don't think about a return. Don't think about anything else that you want to do, because the whole thing and all the things you want to get done when you're traveling can be really overwhelming. Just start at the start, pick the easiest thing. My advice is book the first flight to the city wherever you want to go, and that's you. That, trust me, you're gonna book everything else. The thing I've discovered recently this year is called the Pomodoro Technique. I think there's a man on YouTube. I found his video, Thomas Frank. I can link it below. It's not his idea, it's something he just talks about. So the Pomodoro Technique, which I discovered having gone to Italy last year, it means tomato, so it's a tomato technique. Is when you just do 25 minutes work. So you set your timer, you're like, okay, I'm going to do 25 minutes, you know the alarm's going to go off at 25 minutes, and after 25 minutes you take a break. So whatever you want to do, you do it for 25 minutes, and you're like, hey, I've got this start point and I've got this finish point, and 25 minutes is nothing. Like, that's not that long. I can go do whatever I want after that time. For him, he says he just likes to use it as a starting point, and then he's like, once I've started, I happily keep going. And I think that's kind of like for a lot of people, starting feels the hardest. Such a great technique, and it's actually really worked for me this year. Like, it's been keeping me in such a positive mindset. To start with the simplest, easiest way, and it's all just kind of downhill from there, because it's never as bad as you think it's going to be, or as hard. The second tip I have is to start a bullet journal, and I sort of upgraded it to this year, is to really sort of organize my time management. So for me, that is giving myself a specific time through the day when I should be doing things. And that can sound intense, but for a lot of people, myself included, it works. So quickly on the time management thing is, I could write a list and I'm like, hey, I've got all this stuff to do today, but I didn't have a time. So it's sort of like that overwhelming thing where you don't know where to start, like I talked about the starting point. And so I'll be sitting reading and I'll be like, oh yeah, I've got that list, but I've got tons of time, I've got the whole day, I'll get it done. Not really knowing what to pick first, and then I end up getting nothing done. So for the time management thing is, I'll be like 9 o'clock, I'm gonna wake up, do my morning routine, then I give myself like an hour and a half, then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this for 30 minutes, then at 10 o'clock I'm gonna have a break, or then at 10:15 I'm gonna do this. And it's actually really freeing because I've already figured out what I'm gonna do for the day. I just need to look at this list and be like, right, it's this time, I'm doing this. And it's actually quite nice. Might be too intense for some people, but for me it really works because I don't need to think, I don't need to add on to another thing in my brain. I don't need to add on to my brain, oh crap, what am I supposed to be doing? Right, let's pick something. I'm like, okay, I have already arranged that I have enough time in the day to get everything that I want done, and I don't need to stress about trying to make sure I can get everything done. I just need to follow my list, and it's actually really freeing. I will link the original video or website down below. It is just this book, or journal, sorry, and you can kind of make it to whatever you want to be. The person that created it kind of gives you a sort of guideline of how they set the rough bullet journal up, and you can kind of take inspiration. And there's so many people, like search on YouTube bullet journal, there's so many people with bullet journal videos and they're so inspirational. So the bullet journal is perfect for everybody because you can tailor it to what exactly you need. I think it's really healthy for me, for everybody, to take the thoughts and stresses out of your head that are overwhelming you, that are preventing you from starting something, and you can lay out how exactly you need it and you want it. My third and last tip is going to probably sound very obvious, and it's realization. The realization that you are the one in control of your life, your choices, your fates. Nobody else is going to make you happier, nobody else is going to make your life better. A lot of people, myself kind of included, sometimes sit around and wait for something to happen, wait for something else, or wait for life to make your life better. And that just isn't really going to happen. And once you kind of realize that you're the only person that can change anything, you're the person that can make yourself happier, it sort of all kind of fits into place and slots. If you have the capacity, the opportunity, and the capability to do something, to create something, to go where, to do anything, then you have to do it. It's sort of your obligation, because there's so many people that can't and wish they could. So if you're privileged enough, if you have a little time, a little money to travel, to book that first flight, then sit down for 5 minutes and do it, because you will thank yourself so much. I think my parents always said don't compare yourself to other people, but I think it can give you, what's the word? But I think it can really put things into perspective for you and really make you grateful for things you have in your life by looking at the things people don't, the things people wish they did. And you'll be like, yeah, I've got a roof over my head. So many people don't. Yeah, I may not make a lot of money, but I can go on a holiday this year. So many people can't. So you sort of have that obligation to be like, yeah, I should go on holiday. I'm not going to spend the summer sitting on my couch eating crisps or whatever, and that money's just going to go to waste on whatever, on junk food or whatever, when you could have spent it and gone on holiday. And yeah, sure, you may not have been overflowing with cash when you get back, but you've got enough to survive, then that's it. There's a quote on my wall and it says, travel when you're young, don't worry about money because experience is so much more worthwhile. It's not the exact quote, but it sort of goes roughly like that, and I am so bad for that because I always worry about money. I'm a very prudent person when it comes to money. And a great quote my sister's friend's dad always talks about is, you can't take money to your grave. And it's so true. And I'm like, I'm saving all this money, I'm not doing these things, and for what? Like, I can't take it when I die, so should I not try and experience and make the most of my life while I can? And so when those realizations kind of hit, you're like, yeah, I need to make the most of my life. Make those realizations. Don't waste your life. Start making the changes that you're able to do. Start doing the things you're able to do. Start small and easy. And once you start small and easy regularly, it becomes better, and it becomes easier to regularly start doing things and achieving the things that you want to achieve, and you can make them bigger and you can make them better. And I really hope this video has helped. I kind of wanted to try and inspire other people, and you can do the things that you want to do. It's not as hard as you think it's going to be, because that is my downfall, always thinking it's going to be harder than it really is. So I encourage you to start making these small changes in your life. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you're maybe even a little bit inspired to start making some changes in your life, and I will see you next time.